I don't have the arm strength for this. Oh my god. Hi, I'm Maya from Bookworm Dreams and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna haul some books. These are the books that I got this year. There's not a lot of them, at least I think. And also it was my birthday recently, so I got a bunch of books then. So let's just start. So first, let's start with this one. This is T.A. White's Rules of Redemption. Now, at the beginning of the year, I think it was the beginning or like around March, a bunch of booktubers decided to do a read-along for the, oh my god, I should know the name of the series. I mean, I'm behind. So, the Firebird Chronicles. When they described this book, they said it was perfect for fans of Ilona Andrews because it is similar in ways to Ilona Andrews' books. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So, I read the first book. And I loved it, so I got myself a physical copy of it. In this book, we follow Kira Forrest, and she's basically surviving in space after a big war between Earth and aliens that were trying to destroy it. Kira did some things, and she decided to remove herself from society for a little bit. But then she got into some trouble at a space station, where it was discovered that she is not as she seemed, and she was taken in by another alien race. By taken in, I mean, come with us or else. And, that's where her adventure begins. I mean, I'm not explaining it well, but it's a very awesome series. I'm 3 books in. The read along is long over. I have two books left to read, but yeah, I had a great time reading it. And yeah, it was so awesome. I had to get the physical copy. Next book I got is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the sequel to A Tainted Cup. In the first book, The Tainted Cup, we follow sort of Sherlock Watson pair as they are investigating an impossible murder. A man was found in a courtyard with a tree rising out of his torso. The 2 characters we follow are Anna de Labra. She's the Sherlock in this pair. She is a very talented investigator, but she keeps herself away from people, and she sends her assistant called Dinios to deal with people. And he's very young and sort of unsure of his abilities because he sort of got into his position with a little bit of fibbing. But you find out all that in the first book. Together they solve crimes. The second book is a locked room mystery. So it says here, an impossible crime has occurred. A treasury officer has vanished, abducted from an impenetrable tower. I have the first book and it was one of my favorite books last year. So I had to get the second one as soon as it came out. And I did. And I haven't read it yet. But I will. I went to the cinema at some point. I did. And when I go to the cinema, I go to a place where there's a bookshop. And I was surprised to find that they had the new editions of T. Kingfisher's Saints of Steel series. So I got Paladin's Grace, Paladin's Strength, Paladin's Hope, and Paladin's Fate. When I found out that they were coming out with these new editions, I was like, first of all, the covers are so awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. I love this one. Look how awesome this lady looks. Oh my god, so cool. Anyway, I already read this series before. And, when I found out that they were coming out with a new one, I was like, oh, that's going to be so cool to get from the internet one day. But when I found it in the store, I was like, I'm so getting this. So, in the Saints of Steel world, there are paladins to gods. Gods were real, but someday someone killed all the gods. And the paladins find themselves lost, and confused because they had a higher, very intense purpose, and now they're going around as lawmen. So in the first book, Paladin's Grace, we follow what's his name, Stephen and Grace, and each book in the series follows a pair, or a paladin and someone else, as they are dealing with a crime. Or in the first one, what are they doing? I think they're investigating a murder. A perfumer, Grace, basically someone dies in her shop, I believe. And Stephen is a person who helps deal with that. And, they have a connection and stuff happens. But, it's T. Kingfisher, and I really do enjoy her romances. So in Paladin's Grace, we have Grace and Stephen. In Paladin's Strength, we have Istvan and Clara. That's Clara. Look how awesome she is. I love her. The 2 of them are tracking a supernatural killer through the continent. Here we have Piper and Galen. So Galen is the knight. Piper is like a what's that? What do you call that person who deals with dead people? It says here, lich doctor. So a physician who works among the dead. So he is investigating things and needs help from the paladins, and that's the guy who helps him. And together they work on a problem. I do believe there's a maze in this one, if I remember correctly. That one was a cool one when they went into the maze and they had to survive. And in this one we have Shane. So that would be Shane and Marguerite. We see Marguerite throughout the series as she's a spy, and together they are dealing with a demon cult thing, and they have to work together to survive. I mean, it's really cool because the paladins, in this one especially, the paladins have their own like code of behavior and what they're supposed to act and do in certain situations. And Marguerite is doing anything and everything she can to, help people and fulfill her mission. And, the two of them come into conflict because of that, because, he's like all, I don't want to say pious, but, and she's like, I'm doing anything I can. And, it is an entertaining conflict to read. So I love that series. It's a really fun series. Then I was like, well, I don't have to go to the store to buy stuff. I can buy stuff online. And I was like, I keep rereading a specific mafia romance over and over again. So I was like, I'm going to get books that I reread over and over again. So I can just, have them as like, not trophies, but, something to hold. So one of my favorite mafia romances that I discovered last year is called Imperfectly Perfect by Neva Altaj. If that is how you say her name. I don't think I didn't Google how to say her name, but that is how I heard some other booktubers say her name. So, but it could be wrong. Anyway, in this series, we follow different mafia people from different parts of the country, America. So you have people from the Boston Mafia, people in New York and whatever. So we follow members of like the Russian Mafia, the Italian Mafia, and the Serbian Mafia. That's honestly one of my favorites. And other, but I don't remember. Anyway, so I got the book Silent Lies, in which we follow Drago and Siena. This is the Serbian one. Basically, to strengthen the connections between the Serbian and the Italian mafia, Drago basically has to marry Siena. Siena is a sister of one of the Italian captains, whose book I also have somewhere here. And basically she is all happy and shit, and he's all grumpy and shit, and together they don't like each other at the beginning. I mean, she's all like happy. I mean, she comes there with a mission, and he's very suspicious of her, and so that sort of animosity grows and grows until which culminates with them getting it on. But there is a B plot of someone trying to destroy the Serbian mafia, and they're like trying to deal with that and stuff. But I mean, it's a mafia romance. It's awesome. Then I got Ruined Secrets. Here we follow Isabella and Luca. So these are obviously Italian mafia. She basically falls in love with Luca at a very young age. And when she turns 19 or something, she marries him. And he's like, no, you're too young for me. Like, I don't want to deal with you or whatever. But she works very hard to get under his skin and make him fall in love with her. But he has an accident, and he kind of forgets everything, and she helps him through all of that. So yeah, also one of my favorites. And I have Stolen Touches. In this one, we follow Milene and Salvatore. I'm not fucking mispronouncing their names, whatever. Basically, Salvatore meets Milene at a hospital. She's a nurse, and he's leaving after a checkup, and he is very intrigued by her. She is sort of hiding who she is because she's not supposed to be in New York. She's part of the Italian mafia, but somewhere else, I don't remember where. And they're forbidden to coming to New York because Salvatore is like a very, very ruthless, brutal leader, and they're like, just don't even come near there. Whenever someone went there, they got sent back in parts. So not a good idea to go there. So basically, he meets her, and they sort of have this, like, she doesn't know who he is, so, and they have a little bit of a romance, flirtation, whatnot. But then he's like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm marrying her. I don't give a fuck. And he's like, forces her to marry him. And from there on, the romance continues. But there's also like people trying to kill him because he's a leader of the Italian mafia, and stuff happens as well. So these are like discreet covers with like flowers and guns, and there's like chess pieces here. And what do we have here? a gun and a cross, right? So these are like discrete covers. And I want to show you the like not discrete covers, which honestly I prefer, but this was the only version you could get from Liberisto, where I got this set of books. This is the one I got for my birthday from my friends. So this is Precious Hazard. This is the latest book in this series. So this is like the original cover. In every cover you have hands and shit. Well, I don't know why do you need discrete covers for something like this? Anyway, so Precious Hazard, where we follow Tara and Arturo. Tara is the sister of the Serbian boss guy, and Arturo is the brother of the Serbian boss guy's wife. And they hate each other. They really, really hate each other. And they are sort of not forced. Like the boss Salvatore is like, he's nudging Arturo to get a wife so he can like slow down, and because he's like really, really in his work. And he also wants to like strengthen the bonds between the Serbian and the Italian mafia. Tara is like, fuck it, I'm doing it because, she wants to prove to her brother that she's not like a fuck up. It's very, very angsty and explosive. And also, if you get the original, you get like dark pages. That's book one I got for my birthday. And that's for the mafia romance stuff. Then my sister got me this one for my birthday. This is Jesat Crown by Sarah Hashem. This is the sequel to the Jesat Heir. Basically, in Jesat Heir, this is a duology. We follow, I don't remember her name, Sylvia. Sylvia is the Jesat Heir, which was a very like successful kingdom at some point, and then they got fucked over and something. And she is not very keen on like claiming her throne. She's in hiding basically, and she has some powers. But in the first book, she's sort of discovered by basically, it's not her worst enemy. It's the guy who's going around and finding people of her power, finding magical people, if I remember correctly. And he's like, you're interesting. And he basically brings her to some kind of competition, because the kingdoms have a competition every, I don't think, quarter century or something. And he basically brings her to the competition so she can win and do stuff. So I honestly don't remember how it ends. I'm going to have to remind myself before I get to the sequel. But yeah, this is a book I got for my birthday. It's very big. I should have put it in my like October TBR to read 656 pages, but the font is big, so that's cool. So yeah, I got that one for my birthday. Then I got this one. So this is The Inheritance by Ilona Andrews. So my friend got it for me, I think, as soon as it came out, because as soon as it came out, I got it on ebook, and I was like, I'm reading this. This is the newest book by Ilona Andrews, the writing duo, The Inheritance. Look at that awesome cover. Look how awesome this is. Basically, in this one, we follow Adeline. So in this world, breaches appeared on Earth, and people go into these breaches to mine for metals and various plant life for, technology, medicine, and whatnot. And Adeline goes into the breach and is basically left there. And she survives doing stuff. And she has a dog companion named Bear. The dog survives. It says in the beginning of in the first like couple of pages, in the content warnings of the book, it says that the dog survives. So, it gets dicey a couple of times, but it survives. It's an awesome book. Definitely read it. And I'm so happy I have it. Yay. Then my friends got me Monk and Robot, Becky Chambers' collection of A Psalm for the Wild Built and A Prayer for the Crown Shy. These are the two novellas I read like maybe 2 or 3 years ago on a way to, I was traveling with my sister to Vienna to a Pink concert. And during that time, I have read the first one, gave it 5 stars. I was such in a great mood for this. And this is not something that people would say, like, this is for you. Basically, in this collection of novellas, we follow a monk and robot. Basically, both of them wondering about their lives. It's very philosophical, and they're talking about what do people need. Like, they're talking about, friendship, and it's very philosophical. It's very like sci-fi cozy, but no, not cozy. What do you call that? Hopeful sci-fi. It is very hopeful, and you have to be in a specific mood to read it. And when I read those 2 books, I was in an awesome mood, and I gave both of them 5 stars. And when I heard that the paperback of these novellas is coming out, I was like, I'm getting it when I see it somewhere in the store or whatnot. But yeah, I got it for my birthday. And last book is this one, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sango Mandana. I read this year, a couple of months ago, gave it 5 stars. I loved it. This is a cozy fantasy in which we follow Sarah Swan. Basically, she's a very talented witch, and when she's very young, she does magic to bring her aunt back to life. And while doing that, she loses all her magic and loses her place in a magical school that she was a part of in this magical society. And she is basically surviving. She is then running this in with her aunt, and there's a zombie rooster thing and a fox. And 15 years later, we see her, running this inn, and we see all the guests that live there. Like there's like 2 or 3 of them, and then Luke, I believe, yes, Luke comes along with his autistic sister. Basically, they need a place, and the inn provides this place for them to grow and just deal with their problems. So both of them develop a connection, and they help each other out in, first of all, Sarah trying to get her magic back, and Luke trying to help his sister and whatnot. I mean, 5 stars. When I read it, I gave it 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm so glad I have this book in my collection. So yeah, those are all the books I got this year. If you have read any of the books that I've shown you and you want to share your thoughts, please do so down below. And that's it for this video. Please press the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!